Before we start today's episode, I just want to let everyone know Dave's mic bugged out just before we started recording, so he had to record with his laptop microphone. Just in case anyone thinks, oh, Dave's audio is weird, which it is, you're not wrong. It's just his laptop microphone. Anyway, thanks. On with the show. To 100% this game, and I don't know if this is the base game and the expansions as well, but if you want to get 100% in Path of Exile, that is 590 hours. Just to get through every piece of content.
I'm scared someone did it and clocked it. Like they stopped the timer or something.
Oh yeah, there are crazies out there, and this game has been around since 2013. Of course, there are people that did that.
Of course, which was just and it's a free game, so that's cool, right? The idea that you've got 500 hours, which is mental. Like just even thinking about it,
It's closer to 600.
Can you think how much clicking that is? that's going through mice type level of clicking. Like your mouse is broken due to you clicking that druid or something. That is a lot of clicking.
Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of everyone's favorite podcast, the Critical Arcade Podcast. I'm your co-host Nick.
And I'm Dave.
Hello Dave.
Hey Nick, you well?
Yes. Kind of.
Kind of? Why kind of, Nick? Tell everyone. We're all listening.
We just come off of load shedding.
Oh yeah, it's gonna yeah.
Right? It's the most infuriating thing.
For people who don't know what load shedding is, I'm about to say, in South Africa, we lose about 7 to 10 hours a day. We lose electricity due to our mismanaged electrical stations and power stations and like. So we lose about that much every single day.
Yes,
it's hard to work around. Oh yeah, they're right. We're
hard to work around. It's almost impossible to work around.
We're so green in this country that we naturally just shut down all power so that the earth can heal. No.
Yes.
Utilities in this country are a bit broken. It's a very nice way of saying it. But yeah, anyway, that's what load shedding is. Yeah, and it's tough.
That's load shedding for all of our international folks.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's just one of the things we deal with out here. And it is a nightmare.
Yeah. It really is. It's difficult to do any work. It's difficult to record these episodes. I know it sounds like a first world problem. It's even difficult to play the games we need to play.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's weird. Even late at night when there's no power, just going to the bathroom. Like when it's 5 o'clock in the morning and you've got to go and have a wee, and there's no lights, and you've got to remember to take your phone or something, or do that thing where I don't know if I should be saying this, but when you go into the toilet, you haven't brought your torch, so you make sure your shins are touching the basin of the toilet, so now you can aim properly in regards to civil measurements, because you're not going to go get your torch at 5 o'clock in the morning. So these are the struggles we have in South Africa, ladies and gentlemen.
Very cool, so nice. I'm just
that's right.
Anyway.
so you're not doing too well.
No, not doing too well because of load shedding. Everyone else, please if you're not in South Africa, that is something we need to deal with. Feel grateful you don't need to deal with.
Yeah, I would say enjoy your electricity. Just sit there underneath your bulbs and on your lights and all your microwaves and just enjoy the luxury of it all.
Yeah, but anyway, we don't need to continue on that.
Okay, what game are we doing this week?
Yes, this week we are playing. Well, we played the 2013 free-to-play release called Path of Exile. Or as Dave calls it.
So annoying.
Path of the Exile.
The Exile. I can't say Path of Exile. I think it's grammatically fine. My mind just says it needs the. Give me a the.
No, it does. It does. My mind says the same. But you know what put me across the line? You know why they call it Path of Exile?
Go on, because it's fundamentally the narrative of the game, right? But go on.
Exactly. You are referred to as Exile in the game. Not the Exile, a Exile, just as a
as
name,
Exile.
as Exile. You are
Oh,
Exile, and
so it's funded.
this is the path of Exile.
Okay, so if that was like that could easily be Steve or Mark, like the path of Mark.
Exactly,
Okay, okay.
exactly.
But still,
This could have been called the path of Philip.
yeah, exactly. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Still, it bugs me. I want a patch. I want a DLC that adds the just
Yeah,
because that's me. But I understand your premise. Yes, it is. It's a like a
it is a name, and it's made like this to be remembered.
yes.
Right,
I guess
Path of
that's
Exile.
true.
If
That's
they
true.
called
Yeah,
it Path of the Exile, that would
yeah.
just
That's a
be
bit.
a regular sentence.
Yeah, and it's a bit generic, right? It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you call it that way. Anyway, it was developed by a company called Grinding Gear Games. I love a bit of alliteration, me. And they're from New Zealand, or were from New Zealand.
Oh,
But they got bought out by a Chinese company, or the majority was bought out by a Chinese company called Tencent.
What?
Have you heard of
Tencent
Tencent?
owned. Of course, I have. Tencent owns Path of Exile.
80 something, 86, 89% shareholder of
When did
Path
this
of Exile.
happen? Do you know when they bought it?
They bought it just before Path of Exile started going out on PlayStation and stuff. The New Zealanders had it when it released on PC, and then when it went multi-platform.
Yeah, that must have been a while ago.
It was a
I
while
did
ago.
not know. Wow, Tencent
Who's
owns Path of
Tencent then?
Exile.
Who's
Tencent.
Tencent?
It's one of the Chinese mega corporations. I think it's the biggest gaming corporation in the world.
Oh wow! And they own what, like World of Warcraft? Or no, it can't be that.
No, that's Activision
Sorry,
Blizzard.
yeah, that was a stupid thing to say.
It's
They
the weird,
own
Tencent
MMOs,
owns
right? They must be MMO type
a
things.
load of those things. Yeah, mostly games that make money.
Of course, everybody wants that.
Exactly, but it's not Tencent. They don't make games that you buy and then you have.
Ah, yes, I know what you
Does
mean.
that make sense?
Yeah, that's what I mean. No. I'm with you. Just like this game, fundamentally.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. This is free to play, but there are some
Yeah.
pitfalls.
It's strangely enough. Also, this game I noticed the New Zealand company was actually partly crowdfunded too. They
So cool.
they didn't raise quite enough money for to release it or develop it, and so they crowdfunded in-game items and
Yeah.
I don't know armors and magics and stuff like that. That if you purchased pre-order wise, you'd then get them on your account when you played the game later. They raised like $250,000, so that worked quite well. So it's fundamentally one of the reasons it even exists is just due to crowdfunding, which I always like to hear. It's always
Yeah.
nice when everybody else puts a hand helping people out in indie games. Oh, and it's an indie game as well, right? This is an indie game.
This is an indie game. I keep I keep forgetting. No, I think
Indie
this
500. But if Tencent owns it, can it still be defined as an indie game when
I
mega
guess not.
corporation
I guess
owns it?
not. No,
But
this
originally
used
it
to be an
was.
indie game. Originally,
Yeah, exactly.
in
It
2013,
really
when
was.
this released, it was crowdfunded. This used to be an
Exactly.
indie game. This can be sort of like a rags to riches story.
No, exactly.
But yes, this is. I keep forgetting to add this at the start.
Indie 500.
This is an Indie 500 game. Welcome to the Indie 500, where we review indie games every month.
Yeah, that's right. Okay,
I need to write this down somewhere.
Yeah. But yeah. So there's a fun story there. I always like reading especially indie games have got the most interesting. I don't care
Yeah.
about Activision and EA and all that. It's the little indie companies that have got the really fun stories and where they come from and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun to research that.
But that's because we've been put through the ringer with most AAA games and
Oh, yes, I
big
agree.
corporations, right?
I agree
Another
entirely.
Call of Duty game
Yeah,
isn't going to grab my attention.
No, I agree entirely. It's these little companies are a lot more fun. No, we all like our Ragnaroks and our what's coming out soon, Star Citizen or whatever.
What do you mean Star Citizen's never going to come out? Starfield.
Well, yeah, Starfield. There you go. I knew it was something Star. See, this is
Yeah.
those are all good, and yes, they'd be great. But the little indie games, like I said, I've said this before, they're so much more fun when they pop up, and you get to look into them and help people out. But anyway,
it's so much more heart and passion.
yes.
If I'm looking at a FIFA game, it's the driest, most corporate, money-fueled thing.
You couldn't even pick a better salute. FIFA games who've lost their license, by the way, now.
Yes, they have,
Which
thankfully.
is great. Yeah, they're just horrible. copy, paste, new players, same gameplay. Oh, just, they're the worst.
Did you hear what the president of the FIFA Corporation said?
No, go on.
When the deal fell through for FIFA 23, FIFA 22 is the last EA-made FIFA game there is. When the deal fell through for FIFA 23, the president of the FIFA Corporation said something around the lines of, "That's fine, we don't need EA. We're going to make our own FIFA game, and it's going to be the best soccer game ever."
Yeah, I have a lot of faith in that, don't you?
Oh yeah, of course.
Just a random football club. Just make your own game. Yeah.
If there's any corporation more trustworthy than the FIFA
FIFA.
Corporation.
That's right. They don't have a bad history at all, do they? They're
none.
Squeaky clean.
After the president said that, I can only imagine Bender from Futurama saying, "Fine, we'll make our own FIFA game with blackjack and hookers."
Yeah, exactly right. It's fundamentally the same thing.
Yes.
Bender and FIFA would actually go together quite well.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, let's jump straight into narrative, shall we?
For Path of Exile, sure.
Yeah. What did you think? Oh, go on, I was going to say first too. Go on.
Right, I have no idea what is happening in this game.
Well, first of all, I'll also point about a situation. And this is going to be a hot take.
Okay.
I apologize for it. Do not like Diablo-esque games.
What?
I know.
No.
I know this is painful, and I know the backlash and stuff. I like stories.
You're getting backlash from me right now.
No, I like stories.
You can't say that.
Story games are cool. I love stories.
Yes.
You won't believe how much I've tried. I've tried Diablo 1, I've tried Diablo 2, I've tried 3, and I even touched the phone one, Immortal or whatever that looks like.
No, stay away.
And I cannot play these games and be like 2 hours in and just thinking, I'm just clicking on things. A bad guy comes running up to me and I go click, 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 click.
Click, click, click.
Another one comes up to me, click, 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 click. And I'm just like, whoa, what am I doing? But anyway, we're going to narrative.
What do you mean?
I'm just clicking on bad guys.
Yes, that's video games. What do you mean? Okay. We can have a big... You're a fan of turn-based combat.
Oh god, yeah, that's a valid point. But I surmise turn-based to playing chess. There's strategy to each move you make. There's slight strategy in this. I'll give you, like, if there's an ice thing, you use fire, and if you're surrounded by people, you put on a shield or something. So I'm with you. It's just I get so bored just clearing out these areas, and I almost cried when I went back to the area and like all the things respawned. I was like,
"Whoa!
I've cleared this area already."
Is this Diablo or Path of Exile?
Yeah, this is Path of Exile. I don't know if it was a glitch. If it was a glitch, when I went back to the beach, the main beach, everybody was back again.
No, I don't think it's a glitch. I think it's just a way to get you to keep playing this game.
Just clicking, yeah. But okay, anyway, we go to narrative. You're right. Narrative, on the get-go, no clue what's going on. I know you're exiled, and I like the aspect that you are exiled, and the exile story is different depending on which class you choose. What class did you choose, by the way?
This time, I chose the Marauder, who's a big, brute gladiator type
it's
man.
Like the barbarian in like most.
Yes.
Right,
I called him Muscles.
Nice. I chose Duelist, and I called him Sven.
Sven the Duelist.
So
that's cool.
and they both have two different ones. My story was that he murdered a bunch of people, and now he's being exiled. Do you remember what your Marauder did?
No.
You just let me play this game. God damn it! Shut up! I want to click on things and make them blow up.
Stop talking. Where's the story?
Yeah, but it's one of these games when they are free to play, and it's much like a Honkai Star Rail. You know the story's going to be massive, so it's a bit slow burn. They've got to do that slow burn of it. So all I really garnered after a few hours, you get chucked out of somewhere.
Ray class, or is that where you get exiled to? I can't remember.
You get exiled. Well, I wrote that down somewhere. Where do you get exiled? Oh no, you get exiled to Ray classed or something.
Yes.
I don't know how you say.
Yes.
So a High Templar Dominus exiles you to the penal colony of Ray class or caste, where you basically it's basically just a penal colony. Lots of prisoners, lots of horrible people, all stuck on one island. I did do a little look because Dominus is Latin for master or owner, which they chuck up quite a few Latin references in this game, which I enjoy.
Yes.
And Dominus is actually friends with a person called Piety, and Piety means religious devotion. And in this game, he is actually very religiously devoted. And then, like I said, they chuck so much posh words at you. Dominus and Piety are studying thaumaturgy.
Thaumaturgy.
Thank you. Sorry. Which is, do you know what that is? So it's a bit of a lesson now. Nick, you've got your hand up. What is it?
It's.
Sorry, sir. I don't know.
7.
Good try. No, it's the study of the performance of miracles. So
okay.
I like it when there's a basis of actual truth in their storytelling.
Yes.
And that was about as far as I got. Story-wise, you go to this. You got a nice little island town place. You got a healer who needs help. You got some wacky captain who stole his hat, and you got the big warrior salesman barter dude who needs your help too. So it's almost cliche, but it's fine. This is your starting town. It's supposed to be like the tutorial town. Yeah, exactly.
You might as well have called it tutorial town. I would not have minded if they called it tutorial town.
And then, to be honest with you, go on.
Okay, I read the synopsis in Wikipedia because I checked how long it is to beat the base game, and it's 30 hours.
Just the base game, because they got just DLCs and stuff as well, right?
None of the DLCs, just the base game, because 30 hours for a free top-down game, that's chunky.
That is good, no, that's good.
And I think a slow burn is only effective if it's 1, slow, and 2, burns really well. This is definitely slow, but I don't know if it burns so well.
That's the thing. That's what's really hard with a slow burn type game. So say, for example, Persona.
Yes.
5 that you've been playing. It's slow burn, but it adds the confidence and the side stories and the skill development in between the story.
It's slow. Exactly, you're right. That's slow and it burns really well.
Yeah, and that's hard to do. That is real, especially when you've got a slow burn story. To actually fill it out with things to do that don't feel like chores, like clicking on people continuously again and again whilst they drop a shield or a sock or another freaking piece of armor that's worse than the one you're already wearing.
It's what if the armor class of the sock is purple?
I know, right? I was looking for it. I do like my color coded, but and another thing. Granted, I say this as a Diablo noob novice. Ugh. There is so much stuff to. I feel like if you play Diablo, you know all these descriptions of each item. But when I've got an armor set and you use your scroll of identity or whatever the hell.
Yes.
And it says, it's armor rating of 32 with an 18% increase in defense. But if you do this and put this there, this will increase your swing and agility by this, 46% better this.
Yes.
I'm like, what is going on?
What do you mean? It's explaining exactly what's going on.
It's giving me a textbook to read, and then I've got to learn what goes with it so that it works more optimally. I want to know.
I mean, if you build your character optimally, then you've got this optimal character so you can click faster.
Yes, but games should not be so much work. I had a nice piece of armor, and then I had a nice sword, and then the sword had this double slash thing, which I socketed some cool things into it.
There you go.
And the descriptions are massive, and I'm like, cool. And then I forgot to unsocket it, and then I lost it, and then I was angry, and I was like, what the hell's going on? Granted, like I said, you can hear in my description of things that I'm not a Diablo. A lot of people, I can imagine, are the opposite. If I do this, it adds 20% to my swing, and I've got this thing that adds 40%, so that's 60%.
Hell yeah!
And I've got this, oh yeah!
Yeah, that means I can click faster.
That's right. One click will just devour these people. Yeah. I can understand the mentality. I'm just not one of those people. Give me a big, shiny, legendary sword that just says kicks ass, and I'll equip it. That's fine. I don't need to get a calculator. I don't need to. I know it's just me, and I'm a grumpy old man. But and there was so much reading. So much.
There is a lot of reading. There is a lot going in. We can talk about all of these items and descriptions and what they do in the game in gameplay. But even for the narrative, so much reading. As I was saying, I read the synopsis. Did you read the synopsis?
I read parts of the synopsis. I read to the part the basic thing I got is Dominus Piety. You stopped them. They were trying to release a beast or something. And
beast.
The beast. Is it the... Okay. And then it gets even grander. Like, the beast is released. So I just like the rhyme. And then I guess you kill the beast, and then you start taking on the gods in some form, or the people who exiled you, right? Which is that's about as far as I got synopsis-wise.
Kill the beast.
Yeah.
With a bowl of yeast.
Nice.
Which is not the least,
but a fantastic feast.
Oh yeah, wiki, yeah.
I'd say it's easy. Rapping so easy. Why I don't know why they get paid so much. But yeah, that's all I got narrative-wise, which is fine because this makes sense for this type of game.
It gets wild, but almost to a point where, as I was reading the synopsis, it's almost a bit cliched.
Yeah.
But I don't mind. It's just a classic story. You end up defeating Dominus and Piety, and then you defeat the beast.
Yeah.
And then the gods start getting involved, and then you meet up with Innocence, who dies, and then Sin, who revives Innocence, and then after you take on the gods, you realize there's only one way to defeat the gods, and that's to revive and befriend the beast.
Kratos. Oh. The only way I know to kill the gods is Kratos. It's a known. Okay, so you got to revive the beast
and befriend him.
Of course. That only
so
makes
then
sense.
You and the beast.
Nice.
Take down the gods, and it's this big previous antagonist now turns protagonist or whatever.
Yeah. I'm with you. Which is fun. Which is like you said, it's cliche, but it's one you'd expect in a Diablo-esque. Diablo. You're taking on Diablo, so there's the end game is kind of somewhat known in those games. You know what your task is, and the same here. You're exiled by a bunch of asses. You know that you're going to be taking them down. You got a redemption.
It's really just good versus evil.
Yeah, exactly right.
It's great for a lot of people. It's fun. That's exactly what you want. You're good. You need to destroy evil. How original can that story get? Really not that much.
And that just ties back to what we were saying before. Well, you got those stories which are fine, but it's the slow burn middle bits that you need to flesh out. Because we all know we're going to be taking on the bad guy. We all know what's going to happen to some degree. So you need really interesting bits in between whilst you level up to get there. And this game had just tons of fetch quests and kill this and come back type scenario. I don't hate them. I really don't. I understand the need for them, like any MMO type gameplay. Those things exist. But like I said, there's nothing there. It just got boring for me.
It definitely makes sense from a narrative perspective.
Yeah,
it does get boring. It's fetch quests.
It is
just people spouting stuff that doesn't really matter at all.
That's correct.
It doesn't matter.
But it's. But like I said, as an indie game, I was relatively impressed with all the lore and stuff they put into it. It must have taken ages. It bored me, but it must have taken a long time.
This is just a base game. This got released in 2013.
Yeah,
Ever since then,
10 years old. Yeah. And like I said, it's a 10-year-old game. So like I said, it's actually relatively old now, 10 years. But like I said, it's for an indie game, it's actually quite good. It just didn't hit the mark for me, and it doesn't sound like narratively it hit the mark for you that well either.
No, because I didn't get that much of the narrative. I played this game. I played it 2-3 years ago on the PC.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I got quite far, although I can't remember much of the story. And I played it this week on my PS5. And it's so... I also didn't get much of the story again either. But I played as a marauder called Muscles this time. Last time I played as a witch.
Yeah, okay.
And I can't remember much.
Well, that isn't a good sign narratively, is it really?
No,
if you
really
you played
isn't.
it twice and you still don't really know what's going on or remember
it.
But it's one of those games, if you are one of those, what they call it, like loot hunters, or just enjoy...
That's it. These looter games.
Then this game very much is for you. This is just lots and lots of that.
Exactly.
And maybe the story
that means
doesn't matter.
The gameplay really
is the
spoke
key.
to you.
Yeah,
it is.
Exactly.
It is. Let's move on to visuals.
Yeah.
So there's something interesting that happened with this game. It sort of came at the perfect time. We were talking about Diablo earlier, and Diablo 3, do you know when that released?
I don't actually, no.
Diablo 3 released in 2012. A lot of people did not like the direction it went with it looking less realistic and a tiny bit more cartoony.
Yes, it did. Yes, I remember. Yes, I remember that.
Because I think they thought with it being a little bit more stylized and colorful, the appeal would last longer.
Yeah, cater to a wider audience as well, right? For
that type of
younger
thing.
People. Yeah.
And a lot of the core audience was really disappointed. They strayed from the gritty.
Yes, the dark,
exactly,
solemn type experience. Yeah, I'm
exactly.
with you.
And just a year later, Path of Exile got released, and I think it got a lot more funding from the people who wanted Diablo 3 to look like Path of Exile did in the Kickstarter.
You can imagine that the gents at Grinding Gear Games were those people who saw Diablo 3 and were like, "Oh, come on, you can't do this," and then they actually made a plan to do it themselves. You got to respect that type of thinking.
Yeah, and it turned into a huge success from a Kickstarter page to a good game that still, can you believe that it is still being supported?
That's what I mean. That's a notch on the bedpost in its own right. The fact it's still going after 10 years, and it's still. Like, I was playing it, and then randomly some level 80 dude is running to a chest or stats. Granted, I'm an old person. I'm like, who the hell is that? Then I realized, oh, wait a minute, this game's kind of online, right?
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, why is he glowing and like shining? He looks cool. But then I saw he was like level 60 or 80, and I thought, damn, how many hours was that?
Wow.
But yeah, it's still going, so it is quite remarkable, really. If you break it down.
Yes, and a lot of the Diablo fans at the time, this is what they wanted Diablo to be. So it almost came out at a perfect time where Diablo let people down.
Yes,
but this came in just at the
very cleverly done. It's
very cleverly done. It really is because of the way it looks. Very cleverly done.
No, and it is, like I said, it's if you didn't know that this was Diablo and you just called it Diablo 3 or something like that, it would fit in straight away to some degree. You know, I can't know the story's different, but it looks it is gritty, it is dark, it's rainy, it's morbid on the first place you go to.
Morbid, that's perfect.
And it hits that same feeling that Diablo 1 and 2 did.
It scratches that same itch.
We both had PlayStation 5s, and of course this game wasn't going to push the graphics to that extreme.
No, this came out when the PS4 just released.
Yeah, exactly. So visually, I get that it looked a lot like Diablo, and that's what everybody wanted. But I also found it a tad lackluster. I don't know what...
The visually, you mean?
Yeah, visually. Now, granted, I'm not comparing this to Ragnarok or all these other things. I'm comparing it to games that were also out in that time, and I get this is an indie game. This is an indie game, so you can't give it full shots and stuff like that. I just thought, for me, even some of the lighting and the shades were patchy. I know, like I said, I'm being very finicky, and I know this is a massive game.
Before we go on, what other games released at this time?
Oh, there's loads. Right, even things like, we can't include like The Last of Us and stuff like that because that's big.
A big studio.
Yeah, like Gone Home was an indie game.
Yeah, the Stanley Parable.
Yeah, Stanley Parable. Can't include Papers, Please. I love that game, by the way. But
I haven't played it.
Oh, it's weird. Oh look,
Guacamelee, Rogue Legacy.
it's
Okay,
just
but
like
anyway, there's a couple. Sorry, I bogged down the show. Sorry, everyone.
it was just graphically. Maybe I'm spoiled. I can stand here and say maybe I'm being too spoiled, and I shouldn't be so anal about it. And of course, I didn't. You know, I've got a bias because I didn't enjoy the other Diablo games.
Yeah.
So I'll give you that. Maybe it's not my style and stuff. I just found it a bit bland, but I get that's possibly what they're going for in the first few areas. If you know what I mean, it's supposed to be devoid of color and light and fanatical things. Okay, what do you think? You're the big go on. What do you think?
I think I don't know. This being released in 2013 as an indie game, I don't think it looks bad. I think it looks fine. I think it looks nice. I like the style they went for. I think they left all of the power of this game, not just for the environments, but for the amount of enemies and by extension chaos there would be on screen at one time.
Oh, I can understand. I know what you mean. Because
right?
That would take a chunk of your graphics card and stuff because of all the chaos, all the fire effects and stuff. No, that makes it a valid point.
It's very normal for there to be you and 20 enemies on screen.
Oh, just easily, yeah.
Doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm. No, it's a good point. I actually did not think of that. Because of the chaos on screen, it would actually be very hard to graphically keep up. Like, if you were high, that would be very hard to do. It's a very good point. I didn't think of it that way.
And for an indie game, we bring this up all the time, but indie games need to make cuts at certain points.
Oh, yes,
right?
100%.
You can't have your toast buttered on both ends, and that's weird. Why would you do that anyway?
That would be very strange, but go with it.
Just go with it. Just go with it.
Nobody noticed. But no, you're right. You're right.
This is one of those cases. They wanted to have the enemies on screen, the chaos, the gameplay to be fun as hell.
And like you said, and they want to get at that time frame where people were annoyed with Diablo 3.
Yeah.
So they to some degree they needed to rush it out. I'm not saying they did, but to optimally release it at that time where they get the biggest windfall from it, they probably had to cut corners even more, like you said.
Yes, and now 10 years later, we can see that paid off. It worked.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of DLC, like the Crucible, I think I read was one. And
goodness, there's
loads.
Tons.
There's loads more in this.
I think they released 2 a year for 10 years straight.
That's impressive. That's pretty impressive. You know, to keep an IP going for 10 years alone, let alone a little indie IP that then got taken over by Chinese corporation. But to keep it going means the fan base has got to be pretty strong.
It is.
It's got to be there. Yeah.
It's the same as No Man's Sky.
Yeah, that's right.
You know the story. It flopped when it released, but they just put their heads down and improved the game.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty great now. That's true.
Ridiculous degree.
Yeah, and
I think it's the same.
Yeah, I agree. No, it's like you're right about it's a good point you made about the graphics fidelity with that many people on, because this is also, how many platforms is this on now? It's got to be on.
Oh, geez.
Most. Right? I give you not the Switch, but it's got to be PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and that's about it, right? Which means you are talking older generations, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. I get confused with the Xbox Ones. Yeah, okay, One. So yeah, it makes sense. It's a good point. Maybe I'm being too much.
No, I don't think so. I just think we are a tiny bit spoiled.
Yeah, I think we are spoiled. I don't doubt that for a second. You know, you look at all the pretty games out there now, it's exciting. And when you play all these pretty games and then you play a game that's 10 years old, it's hard to be to retract your original eye fascination to something so old. But yeah,
for sure.
Okay, what do you think audio-wise, Mr. Audio Man?
I get called Audio Man in every single episode.
It could be worse names, to be honest with you.
It could. What do you think about audio? Piece of shit.
I wasn't going that far, but I was thinking it. You sound turd. Like, I was thinking of all sorts of those.
I don't have anything really to say about the audio. It's just so standard.
I was shocked. I'll give it its props. I was shocked how many NPCs were voiced.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I
I
was
kept
shocked.
thinking, were they voiced at launch?
Oh, good point. That's a good point.
Right?
Ooh, yeah, that's an
I don't.
interesting
It
one.
it probably doesn't make that much of a difference now because everyone and everything is voiced. But I kept wondering, was
No, that's
that added
interesting
later?
because because there's a lot. They
Yeah,
even
there's a
voice
ton.
the parts when you've learnt something and gone back and speak to them about that person is also
Yeah,
fully voiced. It's a
right.
good point because that's a mountain of audio.
It really
It's
is. And I
really
struggle to
huge.
imagine. I struggle to imagine that an indie team would have
Yeah, it's a good
just
point. No,
did all
it's
that
valid.
voice acting at the start.
Yeah, because people don't understand how much like dialogue. Do you know how long it takes to voice acting is fair? Not that I'm an expert, but I've read up about it.
Yeah,
To do even little roles, they got to
yeah.
do it 3 or 4 times to match the timbre of the situation, and
Oh
all that
man.
talking about other characters and talking about weapons and
Yeah.
stories and mythos and stuff. That would have taken so long, like
Yes. Yes,
crazy
it would
amounts.
have. Because it's mountains of text.
It really is, really colossal. So yeah, you could be right. That could have been a post thing, which is a
Yeah.
valid point. But as we
Not
were
that it.
playing the one now,
Mhm.
we have to review it with it in, and so I thought
Agreed.
it was a surprising. They're not amazing audio bits, but it was
A-
surprising to find that them audio so much voice work
Again,
done in this.
it's standard. The music, the voice acting,
Yeah,
it's.
yeah, yeah.
I
Again,
mean,
it's one of
it's
those
not
things.
bad.
No, when I play games now, I always think whenever I do the audio bit, I always think, okay, what song did I really like? And
Hmm.
then I go, I can't remember any songs.
That's
So
it.
audio wise, it's let down. If I can't remember, like I can remember, everybody remember the Halo tune. Everybody can remember the victory song for Final Fantasy. Everybody can
That's right.
remember the hell. I can remember the opening song to Horizon. Um,
Really, Forbidden
Forbidden
West.
West. Yeah, Forbidden West. It's
Wow.
stuck in my head because I like
Cool.
that song.
But if
So
it's a good
this,
song, it's the same. It really everyone remembers at least one Pokemon battle tune or
exactly
the
right.
entire Poke Rap.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I'd like to meet those people. But yeah, no, I agree. And it doesn't like I know I'm talking about AAA games, but there are even
Yeah.
older games that I swear are still stuck in my head. Be it Toe Jam and Earl or I'm trying to think Monkey
Oh man.
Island, which were very basic
Oh,
games.
Monkey Island.
I've got
Yes.
all of that sort of soundtrack in my head somewhere. I can hear it now just talking about it.
Same.
Um, so there's nothing memorable. It is a bit of a letdown. Like the most memorable bit, sound-wise, to this entire game was those little quips your character makes when they level up. That was
Yes.
about it.
No, I get it. I
They
remember
were
that too.
nice. Yeah, they were
I've
nice.
got the Marauder. I've got
Yeah,
Muscles. Usually just said Dominus will pay
yeah,
or
fair enough.
something.
Yeah, which were nice ideas. You know, I like the idea. I don't know if that's a Diablo thing too. I don't know if it is. If
Me neither.
text used to come up, but I liked that. It added a little characterization to the character you were playing at the time. But apart from that, like sound effects, generic, type dying. Um,
Standard. It is just so standard.
yeah, it's that same thing we said before. They got that stock file from
That's
somewhere,
it.
and they've looked for
That's
the
it.
one that says hitting undead, hitting on metal. There, we use that one. Things like that. It's
Yeah,
but then
grunting.
for an indie game, yeah, you kind of expect it. But yeah, it was a bit of like I said, it was more than likely one of the reasons I got bored as well. I give you that these aren't my
Yeah,
types of
could be,
games,
could
but
be.
take
No,
into
there's
account that the chore of clicking on bad guys aren't even followed up by like epic sound effects or like a Dragon Ball Z esque type like scene or something like that. Just kind of I don't know. I found it boring.
Did you ever play the second best top-down looter game, Titan Quest?
No. I know I should
Ooh,
have done because I know it very well and I know it's very
yes,
popular. But no,
yeah.
I've actually never played that. That's on the list though, so I look forward to
It's
that coming
definitely
through.
on the list.
Because that's one of those games I've
Our
always wanted to play.
almighty
Yeah,
list. All hail the list.
I'll have the list. Um, it's one of those games like everybody's got a backlist of games that they know they should have played by now,
Yes,
but never
yes.
gotten around to it. That's one of the games on there that
Is
I
this
know I
is
should have
this
played.
on the list of shame?
It really is. It really is. It's there's lots on there, but that's one I definitely should have picked up because I like as
Mm,
much as any person an adventure game, be it Skyrim and all the other adventure games out there.
The reason I'm raising Titan Quest is I also have not played as much Diablo as I should. I think I've got less than an hour on Diablo in total.
Oh, well, I beat you there then. That's
among
not
all
too
the
bad.
games.
I feel better. But yeah, go on.
But I could easily have 200 hours in Titan Quest.
Really?
Yes.
Sure. Is it, like I said, I've never played it. But that's third person, isn't it? Am I wrong?
What? No. What? No, that's top down. Exactly like this game. Yes, exactly like this down. Your guy's in the middle. You're looking from an eagle eye view, and as you run around, so does the camera, and you click on enemies.
I think I'm seeing the box cover. Isn't the box cover like a guy standing on a step, like taking on like a Hydra or something like that? I can
yes.
The front. I think I'm thinking that, and then that must be the gameplay styling. But no, okay, I'm with you.
No, Titan Quest took some fat inspiration from Diablo.
Of course.
Imagine just Diablo, but instead of hell, you're just in mythological Greece.
Yes, I figured as much. Yeah. No,
it's
cool.
good, and it sounds good. And every time we talk about these different sounds, the level up sound, the grunting, they are so iconic in Titan Quest. I could hear all of them right now.
Oh, okay.
Right? The sounds in that game is great, and that's why I can compare it to this game and say that this game did not reach that level.
So the Titan Quest holds the bar to what you put to these types of games, Diablo and
For
stuff.
me,
and it's just not hitting it. Which is interesting because now I look forward to playing Titan Quest even more, because then I've played these kind of like meh ones, and then when we play Titan Quest, you know, you've built it up. Now, if it's not as good as you say, we're gonna have to have words.
Here's the thing, Dave. It is as good as I said it is.
There you go. So that's going to be fun, because I like the idea. Like I said, it could be a game that makes me like Diablo-esque type games. Because so far, there isn't one. There isn't one yet.
Okay, it's going to be Titan Quest. And the fun thing about Titan Quest is your mythology, right? You know what a Hydra is. You know who Ares is.
I do. No, I do enjoy a bit of mythology. So yeah, no, that's, even story-wise, that's going to engage me a little bit more too.
It is. I really love Titan Quest. I know this isn't the Titan Quest episode.
So Nick, what are we scoring Titan Quest?
We're scoring it an olive branch out of 10.
Exactly. Well, that'll be later on, I'm sure. Okay, so anything else audio-wise?
No, there really isn't anything else. I think there's a lot of just standard music. Yeah, so much sound going on when the screen is filled with enemies. It's, I don't know. Yeah, nothing to write home about.
Okay, then we go straight into gameplay.
Which is very much not standard.
No. Now this is, I've delved on it before. The click and kill thing isn't my jam. I tried. I was there. I like to dive in. I like to pretend I'm the character. I like to be there. I'm a duelist. Yeah, I got this Sven. I got this special double slash move, which added bleed, which was badass because it really worked quite well. Cool. And I'm like, yeah, okay, and I'm going through, and what did I do? I found the medicine for the ship, and I was like, yeah, and then except for the medicine was too big for my inventory, so I had to drop a bunch of crap, which was driving me mental. Then I went back and I got my rewards, and then it was like, oh, now I've got to go to the mud flaps or something like that. So I went there and I was like, oh, let's click on these ones, and there's crabs to click on, and there's zombies to click on, and there's these weird little things that shoot things out their ass, and I was clicking on them.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, God, all I'm doing is clicking. I'm just clicking. I'm picking things up. And then
if you explain it like that, no, it doesn't sound fun.
That's all I was. And then there was a big fiery dude that I had to click a lot more on, and I clicked him hard, and then he died.
Oh yeah.
And I was like,
clicked him hard, and I clicked him long.
And then I had all his stuff to pick up, but I had no room. So then I had to go through my inventory, find out which I didn't like, and drop that so I could claim all the cool stuff, which I couldn't identify yet. So then I had to go get...
Okay, I get it. First of all, calling a place mud flaps is gross.
What was it called? Mud flaps?
I don't know. It wasn't mud flaps.
It was mud something. It all just goes in, roughly stays in my brain, and comes out a different way. That's just how I roll. It was the mud
Yeah.
place.
No, we're going with mud flaps.
Okay, the mud flaps.
That is the way you're explaining the gameplay here is not inaccurate, but you're doing it such a disservice.
I know, I agree. No, I'll put my hands up to that. It's just so okay. You explain the game.
Yeah.
With a more
this game. This is for people who really like going on, taking a really long time to make a build and go on a power fantasy trip.
Yeah,
right?
I agree. Yeah.
40 hours in, you've honed this character.
Yeah.
To be as powerful as exactly you want it to be. You know exactly what the numbers mean. You've got double slash, whatever. Your hammer is doing bleed damage for some reason.
Yeah, that's yeah.
That's what this game is all about. The gameplay.
I agree.
You can be a caster or a witch or a duelist Sven, or you could be a marauder barbarian called Muscles.
Yes, that's what everybody loves. That's why people have like 5 or 6 different builds of World of Warcraft, right? All level 80 or whatever, because they love very much playing a different concept. Character. Yeah.
Yes, it's very much the same concept as World of Warcraft. And I think eventually you would have needed to make different characters to experience different parts of the game. And I don't think that the expansion packs follow each other. I don't know.
Nor do I, not necessarily. I don't think so.
I think there's so much content put available in the expansions. You're going to need to make different characters because you can't experience all of it with just one character. I don't know.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised too, because they do build that mechanic in, don't they? It's very popular to build that type of mechanic in, where you can do this as a barbarian, but you can do it differently as an archer and all the other the fun things. Okay, now I'll say there are some things I loved. And this is very simple, but I loved this premise, and I don't know if other games have done it or not. I loved that the bartering system. You didn't use any money. The idea that you'd give like 2 swords and you'd get 2 fragments of scroll, or you'd give like a shield and you'd get like a ring or something in exchange, like proper old school bartering where and it makes sense. Why would a penal colony island have coins or money or anything like that? You'd only have stuff to help you survive and stuff.
Yes.
I liked that. I loved the idea that you could only exchange in items or parts of items or things you find. I thought that was I liked that a lot. I found that really quite clever and fun to do. That was go on.
It does make sense. It does make sense, yeah.
And like I said, this another thing I was reading which shocked me until I realized it's true. They actually took some things from Final Fantasy and put it into this game. Yeah.
What did they take? What do you mean?
Final Fantasy X's sphere grid. Do you know that?
Oh yes, I knew that looked familiar.
Yeah, the skill tree thing in this is directly like same type of premise where you have a grid which builds, but it's sphere-like where you can go different avenues. They took that from Final Fantasy X.
I recognized that. Yes, when I zoomed out, I saw this entire this. And just the one corner had muscles in it.
That's right.
Of course, it's Final Fantasy X.
I was shocked. I had to read that, and then I thought, of course. Like, damn, how did I miss that? And then they said that they took the materia system from Final Fantasy VII, which I thought that's a bit of a stretch because lots of things do. Even Diablo did socketed things, didn't they?
Yes.
So that was a bit okay, but they definitely did the sphere grid, which was from a Final Fantasy perspective, I enjoyed that.
No, now that you mention it, it's super obvious.
Yes, it really is.
I was thinking,
go on.
In 2013, wasn't that Final Fantasy 13 territory?
Yeah, I'd say it's around about there, yeah.
So, how was this influenced by Final Fantasy 13? I don't get it.
Did I say 13?
No, you said 10. I was just getting my years mixed up. It's 10.
Okay, no, it is 10. No, and that was fun. A big Final Fantasy fan myself. It's always fun. That made me chuckle a little bit, smile.
Yeah.
But then I got bored again, clicking on all the bad guys. Like I said, I'm not the demographic for this game.
No, you're not.
It's all those Diablo fans, the people who love this type of thing. And this game, and if you are those people, you can jump into this game instantly and know what's going on. You
Yeah.
know your builds, you know all the statistics and reflect damage and other
The
things, percentages.
skeleton.
Yeah,
The skeleton's the same as
yeah,
Titan Quest,
exactly,
Diablo, Path of
exactly.
Exile. The skeleton's the same.
So
You
you
would
can
feel
jump
at
in
home
here.
if you played.
Exactly.
Yes.
You can jump
Yes.
in here and instantly feel like, yeah, and I understand that. I'm just not one of those people. So
Yeah.
I felt a bit lost. The gameplay didn't grab me, but I will put my hands up and said that it never has. I don't know how old is Diablo 1. Got to be 20 something years old
Oh
now, right?
man, that's old.
So it hasn't since then, since I was a kid, and it certainly hasn't till now. Now that I'm a big kid.
We talked earlier about slow burn
Yeah.
and how the narrative fails at being a slow burn.
hmm hmm
I would argue that where the narrative fails, the gameplay succeeds at the slow burn effect.
Okay, elaborate because of the chaos and energy that it has.
No,
Go
because
on.
of how long and meticulous
Oh, go on. Go on.
you need to, the long and meticulous energy you need to put into this game to create a build and a character that can, in 40 hours in, not just stand on its own, but just destroy every enemy in front of it.
No,
That,
there
I
is
think
that.
the
I got
gameplay
you.
succeeds at the slow burn.
Yeah, I understand what you mean because you need to almost grind the areas for special equipment and to fix your playstyle, right? Because if you built
Yes,
a knight type barbarian, you need lots of armor, and you might not have the whole armor kit yet. So then you got to go out and kind of like Elden Ring esque whenever you want to look for
exactly.
the same armor.
Or
Uh,
if you fail at making a
mm,
build, if you're just random things here and there, you're a mage, but in your other hand you're carrying
yeah,
a sword.
yeah, it's hard to stay on one point, isn't it? When you think, well, but I want to be a swordsman, but I want to use magic, but
Exactly,
I want to use
exactly.
the undead. It is hard to do sometimes.
Or if you're a defensive character and your boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do.
Nice. You had to say it,
Yeah,
really.
yeah,
You
yeah.
can't
Thank
say that
you.
without finishing the song.
No, of course not.
Yeah, it is. And if you're those type of people, yeah, this is definitely your jam. This is definitely your find
For
all the
sure,
right stuff, find all
for
the
sure.
kick all the people to death, go to the next island. And the story is there. You're not entirely doing it for no reason. You're helping
Mm-mm.
people, you're saving people, you're taking out giant undead things because it's a menace. There is reason to your clicking as
Yeah,
well, which is
well,
fair
there is
enough.
parts of that. Yeah, you do feel a sense of the scope and the
Mm,
grandeur.
mm. But that's
Right,
just
if
like,
your character is this tiny guy
mm,
and now there's this guy who's 4 times bigger than you
yeah,
are,
exactly right. Yeah.
and both of you still only take up a fifth of the screen,
Mm. Yeah, it's very true. Yeah.
you get a sense of how the grandeur. You
Mm.
really do.
But yeah, that's just me. Anything else gameplay wise from somebody who actually likes these types of likes these things? I don't want it all to
No,
be entirely swung in
no.
my direction.
We can chug through performance to get to value for money. I
Mm.
think, which is going to be a big chunky one.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, performance wise, all I had. Now, this is one I don't think it's really fair because I don't know if it's the South African internet problem.
Yes.
I had a lot of stuttering and stuff like that, but I don't know because in South Africa we generally run. I'm getting about 200 to 180 ping. I don't know. Do you get better?
I did. No, I think my ping was even worse. I think it was above 200.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where I stuttered a lot, but I don't really know if it's our internet line. But then I
It
keep
could
thinking
be.
it's
It
not the
really
most
could be.
it's not the most data
No.
drainy if you compare it to like say Overwatch and stuff like that,
Oh,
which
geez,
I
no.
didn't stutter much with. But this one
That
I
was
did, so
3
I
years
don't really know.
later.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not entirely
Internet
sure.
internet technology improved a ton, I
Yeah.
guess, between 2013 and 2016.
Mm. So I don't really know. I stuttered, but I can't entirely say if it's the game or if it's the internet side of things.
I don't
Um,
know either. I just
and-
know I played on the PlayStation, and
yeah.
sometimes a lot of my hits just did not register.
Yes, that's actually happened with me too. That was driving me mental. One of those things that shoots things out its ass was just sitting there, and I was clicking it like a good one, and it just nothing was going on. I was like,
Yeah.
what? I was almost dying because this thing was
Yeah,
just.
yeah.
Yeah, that was annoying. That's very true. It seemed like I had no hitbox whatsoever.
No, same. But other than that, my performance was
Yeah.
fine.
Like most indie games.
Right, this game's been supported since 2013. Of course, this would run like...
Yeah, exactly right.
No frame drops, no bugs.
Mm. No, it runs fine. Like I said, it could have just been us, but you're going to have very few little issues. And if you do, they're not game breaky or anything like that. They're just go back or go somewhere else type scenarios.
Yeah.
Okay, like you said, value for money time.
Value for money. I think this can be a nice chunky conversation.
Go on.
Value for money, usually for free-to-play games. We also take into account your value for time.
Exactly.
Because essentially that is what you are trading to play this game.
That's true. That's your currency. Right? Yeah, correct.
Exactly. Value for money as well now with microtransactions. But I think Path of Exile is definitely not pay to win.
No, it's very true. That's very true. I didn't see any of that.
Point where you can pay money for a bigger sword or a sword that does more damage.
It's funny now you say that. I didn't even know. You're absolutely right. There wasn't any pop-ups. There wasn't any buy these crystals so that you can have access to this store or something like that. You're right. There was none of it. I can't see.
No, and I think this is
a good point. No,
I think it's because this game came from 2013 when a lot of this didn't really exist yet.
Oh, that's true.
Right, thanks to the new Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Overwatch.
They really
Fortnite,
went deep into it. That's right.
Microtransactions just became the big ticket. That's how you made money.
Oh, it really was, and they made a ton.
They really did.
They really and Counter Strike as well. I remember Counter Strike went mental.
Man,
yeah, that went mental. But you're right. It's a valid point. I don't think it was around yet. But they got to give them kudos that they also haven't put it in. You know, you got to take into account in this game.
Yes, there's a shop.
Oh, there's a shop. Oh no,
there's a shop where you can buy cosmetics for your items.
Okay, I've never understood the cosmetic thing. Is it a rip-off though? Like, is it mental?
I don't. It depends on it depends on the value you put on cosmetic virtual items. Right, for $10, you can make your item. You can make your armor set have wings.
That help you fly, or just
no, it just looks cool.
I just see this is one thing. Granted, my old manness. No, I don't get it. I watch people play Counter Strike and their SMGs or whatever have like zebra print on them, and I'm like, okay, but why?
Not just any zebra print, but purple zebra print.
1 in 500 chance. Ooh.
Like,
but it doesn't do anything.
It's just a purple gun in a game.
I don't understand. Okay,
no, me neither.
I like pretty things, but they don't do anything. I don't know. I'd like $200, $500 and all this. Are you mental? It's
yes. No, these people 100% are. If you,
I don't get it.
Me neither.
But yeah, each to their own. But if it was something like $5 or something like that, okay. If you want
maybe
armor
once
for your horse,
maybe once or maybe even twice, but that is it.
Yeah,
you're getting this free game with these loads of hours of content.
Exactly right. And and something just clicked with you. Maybe it was your favorite like character in an anime, and they've got that suit or something like that. That I get, and I understand aesthetically. But for like $1, $2, cool. Make some extra money, do some fun. But the prices of some of these things, and again, we're going into loot boxes now, which is kind of a tangent.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It is.
But value for money wise, like I said, taking into account this is a free game, and like you said, the main story is 30 hours, and I can only imagine that's 30 hours if you played it through, because you've still got all the builds you want to make, and all the swords you want to find, and all the clicking you want to get done. Yeah, go on.
I looked it up. If to play the base game main story from start to finish it's actually just 29 hours, but to 100% this game, and I don't know if this is the base game and the expansions as well, but if you want to get 100% in Path of Exile, that is 590 hours. Just to get through every piece of content.
I'm scared someone did it and clocked it. Like they stopped the timer or something.
Oh yeah, there are crazies out there, and this game has been around since 2013. Of course, there are people that did that.
Of course, which was just and it's a free game. So that's
Yep.
cool, right? The
Yep.
idea that you've got 500 hours, which is mental, like just even thinking about it. I could.
It's closer to 600.
Can you think how much clicking that is? That's going through mice type level of clicking. Like your mouse is broken due to you clicking that druid or something. That is a lot of clicking.
That is.
But it's free, so that's kind of remarkable.
That's the thing. It's difficult because it's free,
Yeah,
and the shop
right?
doesn't have loot boxes. You're not
No,
gambling.
you're buying the thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, you see this item, cosmetic,
Yeah.
and you buy this item, even though it is just cosmetic. You're not buying a box that might have a chance of getting the item.
That's the worst.
You're buying the thing you want.
No, that's like I said. You can't not be impressed because it's like the times you and I keep talking about when we were like poor and we didn't have anything and we only had one game. The idea that there's a situation now where a kid could be the same thing, but there's a free game. As long as they've got a PC that can just run it, they've got this thing that doesn't cost. You got the internet prices, but doesn't cost the family money or anything like that. And some kid or boy, girl can just play for 500 hours for free. You know, that's quite remarkable. That's cool.
Yeah, we didn't have that. When we were younger.
Yeah, I would have loved that.
But now there's Fortnite, Overwatch 2, Path of Exile. There's just a ton of these free games.
Yeah, and
Valorant's free too, I think.
Yes, I think so, yeah. I believe that's true. But I love that idea. I love the idea that there could be people, I know it's weird to say that people are struggling out there financially, but some kids can still play games that are free and not have to worry about, games are expensive as hell. And there's 500 hours in here. There's thousands of hours in Fortnite and thousands of hours in Overwatch, depending on how much you want to put into it. You know, it's cool. Yeah. It's something we never had. Like
it really is. I just always put out the disclaimer: if you're a parent with a kid playing these types of games, please just keep an eye on maybe if they buy anything on the store or if it gets out of hand, because these corporations, they care about taking your money.
Oh yeah,
that is
never give them the credit card, make the purchase, and then take the credit card off again. When they say add card, literally delete the card afterwards because it's far too easy. It really is.
Overwatch 2 added a shop and they added a battle pass.
Yeah, that's right.
And they removed the entire hero skill tree story thing that they were supposedly working on.
Yeah.
These corporate, they just want your money.
They do.
And with Path of Exile being owned by Tencent, which I didn't know.
Yeah, right.
It's not any different.
No, of course they don't. The reason those games are still going is because they generate an income of some sort. You know, that's the fact as a business.
In 2019, they teased, I think they released the trailer for Path of Exile 2.
Yeah, I think I read about that, but yeah, go on.
At ExileCon, which is the convention for Path of Exile, it's got an entire convention.
Wow, I didn't know that.
It's big. Cool. This game is big.
Cool. All right, ExileCon, yeah.
That is somewhere in July, which is a month after this episode airs.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be more details on Path of Exile 2. With Path of Exile's 2 development at Grinding Gear... Grinding? What?
What's it called? Grinding
Gear Games. Yeah. From the start being owned by Tencent, I can only imagine that this time around, a battle pass and a shop and cosmetics are going to be a bit bigger focus.
I think it's got to be, right? It's sad, but I agree entirely. I bet you there's going to be all sorts of that stuff in there. Hopefully not like on the massive scale, but you can't help but think because the Chinese companies, they do buy these companies and they make mega money out of mobile games and MMOs and stuff like that.
Especially
Tencent. Is their jam. Yeah, exactly. This is their money maker.
I think Tencent owns PUBG Mobile.
Oh, really?
And that's how they are making just all the money.
Yeah, they do.
Colossal amounts of money. I think it's because they own PUBG Mobile.
It's one of those weird things. I still can't get over how much mobile games make.
Yeah, it is. I try not to think about it.
But and like I said, you're right. I think the next game is definitely going to have that in there because
this time around, it's not an indie.
Tencent acquired a majority interest in Riot Games, developer of League of Legends. They own 92.78% of Riot Games. Yeah.
Oh man, that's League of Legends and Valorant.
They own a majority stake in Epic Games. Franchises like Fortnite,
I am telling you, Tencent is a mega corp.
Oh yeah, they're making some money. They've actually, it's scary. They own a lot of companies. They own an 18% stake of Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at other ones now.
Yeah. Capitalism.
Yeah, no doubt. China, like most games that you know, Tencent own a bit of it at the very least.
Before this episode goes off the rails,
sorry.
Before Dave goes down the Tencent rabbit hole.
I was I was going too deep.
Let's go. So, Path of Exile, you good to go for the rating?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do this. Path of Exile. We scored it accordingly after everything we just said. But actually, on our way to get our scores graded, the ship broke down at Rayclast at the beach called Mudflaps.
Mudflaps, yeah.
At Mudflaps. Our scores battled through all of the different enemies and finally made it back to Dominus to fight the beast. But this time, it's matured into the letter grade rating of C+.
Which, strangely enough, is exactly the same score we gave Honkai Star Rail.
Yeah, free games, man.
Which is also a free game with the same type of premise, which is interesting. We gave Horizon Forbidden West and Overwatch 2 another. It's weird. All our online free games also got a C+.
Besides Forbidden West, did we give Overwatch 2 a C+?
We did.
We did. I thought that was lower.
I'm looking at it as we speak.
Because Overwatch 2 is scummy.
That should go down now because of them taking away the thing they promised.
Exactly. It really should go down.
Yeah. That's harsh. It really should. We should change that. We should revisit Overwatch 2 and do another episode and say
we really should.
Bullshit is.
And all we should say is just yeah, Blizzard is bullshit. I can't believe it's still. I cannot believe.
No, I'm shocked by it too. I think that's disgusting. So it is just Overwatch 1 then. Taking that away.
It is just Overwatch 1.
Taking that away means it's just Overwatch 1. Nothing really changed.
It's less than Overwatch 1 because Jeff Kaplan left. Oh.
Yeah, and you're down to 5 instead of 6 now. That's fundamentally the change. Sorry, we're going off a tangent, right?
We are. It's gross. This is going to be a bonus episode. Please watch out for that. You can sign up on our Patreon.
So C+ isn't too bad. And it is. With all those hours there, it deserves that. That's not.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for listening on this week's episode of the Critical Arcade Podcast. If you'd be so kind, you could leave us a review on whatever platform you listen this on. It would help us a lot just to beat out the metrics and our competitors. Because let's face it, we're the best podcast.
I was about to say that we're the best. Everybody just needs to realize this. That's why we need your help.
Step down this American life.
Exactly.
Excuse me, coming through, Joe Rogan.
Yeah, exactly. We see you. We see you. We're on our way. You just sleep with one eye open.
Yeah, do that. You can follow us on our social media channels on Facebook and Instagram, or you can catch me on email at nick@criticalarcade.com.
And I'm Dave at criticalarcade.com.
Yeah, but besides for your email, Dave, where can we and Joe Rogan follow you?
Well, you can. I am out and about, and I'm there. And wherever I am, I've actually collected all the things I found in Path of the Exile. Every random sock, every splintered shield, every weird stick and rod, and weird armor that's not stronger than the one I've already got, but got a better name. And I'm going to make you carry them all. These are all real life items. I'm just going to make you carry them. I'm going to just make you carry everything. Just because of how mind-numbing it was for me in-game to have to just keep picking these things up and working out. In real life, it's going to happen to you. I'm going to make this a real-life thing. This is going to be...
Please.
It's going to fundamentally might get me arrested. I don't even know if that's a law, but it's going to happen.
So, it really could. It's weird. I think slave labor is illegal.
Yeah, that could be the slave labor. Yeah, that's right. That's possibly what it is.
if you don't want to be Dave's mule, you can follow us on Patreon for exclusive content. We make bonus episodes or post-show, really, each week. And also a brand new show called Critical Cinema. And this week, for Critical Cinema, where are we now? This week for Critical Cinema, we're watching the movie 127 Hours, which I've not seen.
Yeah, nor have I. That's the that's the guy with the arm. I won't spoil it, but right? Is that one?
That's the guy with the arm.
Yeah,
and eventually...
I won't spoil it. Yeah, the guy without an arm. Oh, yeah, that one. Okay, yeah,
that movie.
I haven't seen it either. So yeah.
If you wanna hear us talk about that movie for an hour in the same format as we do this show, please check out our Patreon for exclusive content. Besides that, Dave, what can we look forward to next week?
Well, next week's game is a game that we've all heard of the series. We've all heard of Jak and Daxter. I'm sure most people have. Game I've never played. A game I don't think you've never. Series of games you've never played either, which is weird.
No, I haven't.
Strangely enough, I have played lots of Ratchet and Clank, which I always feel like it's the competition to Jak and Daxter. I don't know why. So I'm obviously on Team Ratchet. Well, but this is... Yeah, go on.
That's the top three, right? Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter, and Sly Raccoon.
Oh, true. That's true. I forgot about Sly, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Sly's my series. That's mine.
And then, but this one's called The Lost Frontier. It was a PSP game that got ported to PlayStation 2 as well. And I believe it's got lots of air combat, like planes and stuff in it too.
Yes. Some dogfights.
Yeah, that's it, dogfights. Which is a bit changed the format too. So I look forward to giving it a go. Yeah.
Same. Here's the weird thing. It was released for PS2 and PSP in 2009.
Yeah, that's true. That is odd.
I don't get it. The PS3's been out for 3-4 years at that point.
Yeah, I'd say quite a long time. Yeah, that was coming to the PSP's kind of inevitable death. It didn't last long, did it, the PSP?
Right?
Yeah.
But anyway,
it could be good. We'll see.
We'll see. Tune in next week to hear us talk about Jak and Daxter: The Lost Frontier. We'll see you then. Cheers.
Cheers.